Still seems a bit loud. Yeah, that should be good. Alright. I think I'd get used to setting all that up. I don't. Alright. Let's see here. Back to the grindstone, not where I was previously. What I've been doing recently is redoing a lot of code, specifically for the battle screen. The way the old window code worked was really sloppy. The way that the old eventing system, like, it works, but it's just very sloppy, and so I'm trying to redo it specifically, which means I've actually gone backwards in terms of progress. That being the case, let's see if I can make any forward momentum on this one. Let's see here. So battle consists specifically of two main objects. There's the object scene battle, which is supposed to handle overall scene processing, and then there's the actual actors themselves, which are supposed to perform supposedly individual actions. One of the problems I've run into is I'm not really sure exactly where that line should be drawn. So right now I've put together a few new phases, changed a couple of the old ones. It's now the start phase, which used to be its own thing that I don't want to get into, but now it's its phase, and that's just to get battle started. It's for handling scene transitions and the like. The input phase is where actual input from the characters put in. The setup phase is okay, the characters have put in input, or in the case of like a ambush, it skips the input phase, goes straight to here. This is going to determine who's actually involved in the battle this round. The next phase, this finds the next actor and then passes it. So essentially you can see right here, it's going to go through the battler and it's going to test each person till it finds somebody who's a valid target. So essentially it just goes in a straight line. If that person's died or in other ways incapacitated, let me see here. That's not exactly correct. I need to change this to if actor inactive. Actor active. Yes. Alright, there we go. Okay. Yeah, actor ready only tests if they're dead or petrified. Actor active also includes statuses that would prohibit them from acting, such as paralysis and sleep. I believe those are the only two additional ones. Anyways, after it selects the next actor, then it will go into the execute phase, which is what I'm currently working on, currently making a mess of. Okay. I had to rewrite some code because I rewrote some code that wasn't supposed to be rewritten, and then I did it again. So yeah, forward progress. Boom. Alright, so battle execute start. If it's an enemy, it will perform that actor's AI. Okay, yeah, that's correct. Else doesn't currently do anything because I'm not worried about animating at this time. If it's not an array, the targets that have been passed, that means that essentially no target data has been passed yet, and therefore it will gather a list of valid targets based upon the current scope of the action. Otherwise, if the target, or the scope is a single target, and that target is no longer ready, in this case ready is the correct one because we're only checking if they're dead or petrified, which is another way of being dead, then it will find them a new target. That was not something that was part of the original game. It's not technically a bug fix, but I am doing it. Next up is going to be battle execute next. It'll find the next target in the target list. If they are not ready, it will skip over them. If no target was selected, it will proceed to the next character in the next phase. If there are no characters left, it'll go to the cleanup phase. Assuming that it did find somebody, it goes to the action phase, and that is where I am currently at. So, set battler action info to SCR perform attack. Okay, yes. This is what I was at. Battler set action, SCR perform ability. There we go. Dupe. Not currently doing anything. Battler set action. I'm gonna have to double check on how the run code worked in the original game. But for now, that's gonna have to be sufficient. So perform, we'll call it escape. Helps if you spell correctly. Full disclosure, I had a bug yesterday that actually just turned out to be a misspelling. That's how you know that I'm doing the good stuff here. Okay. So first we're going to work on perform attack. Alright, first we're going to work on escape, just because otherwise it's going to complain. There we go. Hooray. It's not important, I've just chosen to do it because I hate seeing the syntax errors. Alright. Supposed to be, it's going to return an integer, and we are giving it actor and target. Those are what it requires. Actor, target. Okay. So, up until this point, the actor should be valid and the target should be valid because that was checked during that phase. Might not need to execute battle action step at all, now that I think about it. We'll deal with that in a second. Alright. To perform an attack, basically I already have some code written. I'm just going to plagiarize my own code here, so I don't have to write it all over again. I'm just going to clean it up, make it more relevant, etc. Alright. Okay, so damage is equal to nothing, hits are equal to nothing, flags are equal to nothing, although I don't... Oh, flag is how we determine if it was critical or not, so that's good. It is flags instead of critical, just because in the future I might add additional flags. For now, I am not. Alright. Actor attribute. Our actor is equal to argument 0. Our target to argument 1. Alright, so we just go to actor attributes and we shall see here. Hits. That's literally just hits. Okay. Oh, battler hits. There we go. Okay. Times actor attribute actor battler H multiplier. Boom. This will also be clamped to 1. So what do I want to do? I want to max 1 or that. There we go. So the minimum number of attacks is 0. That's important because if you set it to a hit multiplier of 0, then they will still perform 1 attack. That gets rid of this sloppy bit of code here because it's now attacks. The reason I like doing this is because under attacks we've now defined what it's going to be, but that means if later on you decide to adjust how attacks is, instead of having to screw around with this little bit of information right here, instead you just go straight to the source. Let me see here. So we've got 168 here, so what I want to do is make myself a new macro, because once again this is what's often referred to as a magic number. So let me see here. Base to hit physical is going to be 168. And boom. The idea for that is just so that you never have any magic numbers lying around. I mean, I could do it that way because this should be the only thing that ever uses it, and that would be fine, but one day I'll clean up my macros over there, and hopefully it'll make it a little bit easier for me to edit the game for tweaking purposes and such, instead of having to edit, 24 scripts. Let me see here. These are sweethearts in case you're wondering what's going on off screen there. There we go. Alright, so if actor status is blind, base chance to hit plus 40. If the target is blind, base chance to hit goes up 40. If the actor weakness, the target, the actor element for their EA attack element, yes, that is correct. Base chance to hit is plus equal to 40. Alright, var chance to hit is equal to the base chance to hit plus the battler actor's accuracy. If the actor target is not asleep or not paralyzed, subtract their evade score. Chance to hit goes down. Alright. Var roll is equal to I random if roll is equal to 0 or roll is less than chance to hit. The reason for that is a 0 is always a hit, even if for some reason with the evasion and everything that it was 0. Zeros are still hits. Zeros are also criticals. Always. That is a quirk of the original game, not necessarily my design on that one. Alright, so here we go. Attack is equal to the actor's attack, defense is equal to the battler's defense, or the target's defense. Critical rate is equal to the actor's crit. I'm going to go ahead and put this up here, just kind of like things in order like that. So we've taken our 2 actors and then that. And then value damage, which I am going to change to be damage. Like I said, a lot of what I'm doing here is just cleaning up code I've already written. So if roll is equal to 0 or roll is less than crit, then damage is equal to attack plus random of attack plus attack plus random of attack minus defense think I've actually implemented that correctly to begin with. So let's bring up my web page here. I've got a formulas. All right. Let's see here. For combat. Okay, so damage formula. The formula for physical damage is equal to base to base minus defense. For critical hits, I guess I had it right the first time. Here we go. Alright, and then we flag as a critical hit. I should put that in as, once again, it's a magic number, so let's say macro battle attack critical is 1. And we will forward that out. Now, for people who are familiar with the way bit operations work or unfamiliar with it, I could use an XOR here and that would have a very similar effect. The only difference is just for consistency's sake, the OR is always going to set that bit. And in that case, I don't like to leave things open for error, so you don't see me use XOR a lot, even though it would perform the same function in this case. Alright, so damage is equal to attack plus high random attack minus defense. Boom. Booyah. Bareka. Damage is equal to this one. Alright, so then we say if damage is less than 1, it's equal to 1. You can't do less than 1 damage on a successful hit. Damage is and equal to FFFF. That will cap it out at I don't know, 65,000 or something like that. You'd think I'd remember that number, but I don't care right this second, so boom. Oh, I remember what it is. Damage plus equals to damage, and I see why. Okay. That's the correct thing to do. And check for errant tabbings. There's an errant tabbing. Okay, cool. So there's our attack. Basically what occurs, return, now that I think about it, we're doing info, so what I need to do is return damage pushed over 4, or flag. There we go. So now we have our crit stored in with our damage. Fix that. Alright, so now the code for attacking is correct. Let's close that up. So let's look at what we've done here. Battler set action actor. Battler action info is set to the value that we just returned, damage and flag. Not going to mess around with magic or anything right now, we're just going to go directly into... Okay, so this is where we have to make a decision. That is a good point. I might redo this whole system. There's a slightly better way of doing it than what I have, but the version that I'm using right now has its benefits as well. So the question is whether or not to do that. So first what I would need to do is Start next action. In this case, we'll call it event. So what we have here is step is equal to case. Now you notice I got rid of the break right there, and the reason for that is pretty simple. If I put the break in there, then basically it'll proceed to the next step before performing this code. And in some cases that could be considered beneficial, but it's not what I'm going to do here because I have an idea. So right now we have a window queue, and now we're going to have an action queue. Define, thank you. Action. I don't need. I wonder if this will be good. I'm gonna have to. I mean, at the end it'll work out well, I think. So what we're gonna do here is say, first we're gonna get rid of this because that's no longer gonna be relevant. Next we're going to do the following. We're going to set up an action queue. Case. Battle. Or action. Wait. Nope. Oops. Ah, shit, I already have battle action being used. Battle event. Wait. Break. Okay. Where are my character classes? Here we go. So originally these were bachelor events, and we may still be using those, but for now, I do that. Move these down here with my battlers. Now, trim these down. All right, there we go. Okay, so we're. Oh man. We're gonna start off with the wait event, and the wait event is pretty simple. The idea is essentially this is where it's going to be waiting for some action to be true. As I said, most of this code's already been written. We're just moving it around, kind of cleaning it up. And so in this case, what I'm going to be doing is taking the code that I've already written in other places and sort of just adapting it, cleaning it up, making it look a little less like garbage. So that's always important. Right. Right here. Okay, this will also prevent an error that I originally had, which was, I have this little line right here, which is a workaround for it. If one of the actors was waiting on itself, it could cause a soft lock, and so I had to essentially have it mask out the ability for it to wait on itself when it was both the target and the actor. This will somewhat be true still, but we might have a more elegant way of dealing with it. Let's just work with what I got for now, though. Flags. So the way I'm going to go ahead and do this event queue this time is going to be a little different. Let's see here. That's cute. Alright, first off we're going to have the I gotta change that. I gotta change all that. Okay. Let's try again. Let's not do this. Our action is equal to that. There we go. Switch action 0. Before I was using bits, but I think this time I'm going to go ahead and use. No, I can still use bits. Question is, do I want to? I mean, it was originally set up for that, so there we go. And F, which is the action itself. So basically we're going to mask out the first 4 bits and use that to determine what the current event is. As I said, these are all magic numbers right here, so I have a macro list that you can see up in the upper left-hand corner. That is going to indicate what the combination of bits should be. So we're just masking out the bits and we're saying, hey, if it's equal to this, then go ahead and perform that event. Most cases it's a state machine, really. If you guys are interested in that, I do encourage you to read up on state machines because they're very valuable. They add a lot of flexibility to the stuff you're doing. Alright, var mask is equal to 0, flags are equal to... Alright, to make this easier, so I'm not constantly typing that, this will be var... Action. I'm going to go ahead and do this still. Boom. This action. Okay, so it's going to mask out a series of bits in this case. Those bits should be the mask bits. The way this one works is essentially there's several things that the game can be waiting on. It can be waiting on the actor to do something, it could be waiting on the target to do something, it could be waiting on the screen to do something, or it could just be waiting an arbitrary amount of time. What this essentially does is it allows you to mask out what things you don't want it to wait for, or specifically the things you want it to wait for, and the rest of it will ignore. But in the background it actually processes those wait commands either way, it's just it doesn't factor them in when determining whether or not the wait was successful. So this is going to be action QID++. I don't need that to be anything because that isn't anything. Alright, wait is what we're waiting on, mask is what we are. Flags is what it is that we're trying to mask out. Okay, that should be it for the case battle event wait. Sound, perfect. The sound event is incredibly simple. It plays a sound. So if you were expecting some mind-blowing bit of information there, I'm sorry, all it does is play a sound. Action Q B++. This is very important because this will also cause a soft lock. The action Q does have to be advanced. If it is not advanced, it will stay there forever. I also need to do if action Q ID is equal to array length 1D action Q. Action QU is equal to undefined, and save time later, the ID is set back to 0. So that's how processing continues. Also, I need to set this to, so if it ran out of targets, so it needs to go to battle execute next. Step is equal to battle execute next. So if it runs out of actions, it will then move on to the next target. Hopefully that works out how I would like it. A lot of these will actually be really easy to transfer over because they weren't really reliant on the actor to begin with. That screen. I have done something incorrect. No, I haven't. Okay. There it is. Boom. Okay. There's one thing you can take away from this, I hope. Let's see here. Easy to find events. It's just something I like to do. If I were to go over here to the step event, you'll notice right here it says event perform EV other phase. And so all I've done is simply set that event to a different phase. What I like is that since these phases are only relevant to this particular object, by having it implemented that way, one, it prevents any extraneous processing, which I guess scripts would do as well, except I'd still have to create sort of a state machine to decide which script to execute, unless I, once again, set it up as a macro. And to me, it's just... I just like the cleanliness of it. Because then on my left side here, I can actually see my phases, and that's really all. I don't think there's any performance benefits to it or anything. Okay, so execute. First off, check our action and fofo. I have to change the way some of these actions are rendered. Okay, that's good. That's good. Good. And this will be Q ID. I could type in what it actually is, that would help. Okay. The only thing that isn't defined here is window, so I really need to figure out where I define that at. Bar window. Ah, there we go. Okay. This code does not do anything anymore and should be destroyed. Holy shit. All this code needs to go to hell. Go right to hell. This was all code that I replaced. Let's see here. I actually have 3 of them hooked up right now. You can only see 2 of them because that's all I could fit onto a single monitor, but let's see here. Okay, yeah, this is all the old screen code. So back when I had a really bad idea, I hooked up all the message processing code to the screen event, and I mean, it makes sense from sort of a perspective, I guess. Still a bad idea though. So, I mean, I don't even need any of this. I'm just going to delete it. There's no reason to hang on to bad code. So, that makes the screen event a lot simpler. All right, case battle event. Hide. That's a good one. Let's just do that one. So the hide event is what happens generally when an actor dies. It doesn't actually get removed. The instance that it isn't destroyed. It's actually just hidden from view. Target hide is equal to true. Action and fofo. Action and fofo. Batter target actor. Battler target target. ID target. Target hides equal true. Alright, that one's done. Moving on. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and check the ones off that I've done. Sound, hide, screen, wait. All the easy ones. Okay. Alright. Effect is another fairly simple one. It's used to play flashes and such. Oh, that reminds me, I have something that's not going to work. It must be repaired. Alright. So this needs to be swapped to target. Oh. No, it doesn't. Let's see what I've done there. Okay, that's fine. Same thing here. Sometimes I think I do a really bad job, and then I look at it and I go, oh no, that actually works. So. Okay, so for effect, we go ahead and we set our target. And we check for our effect, perform the effect if... Oh, this is actually going to make that a lot easier. System render cache is equal to true, which will update the render queue. You can create as much as you want to the render, but it won't draw until the cache is updated. So whenever you see render cache equals true, it's essentially updating everything that's visible on the screen. Target render flag, render flag, render flag. Looks good. All right, that one's done. Target ID. Oh, these do need to be changed. Needs to be actor. And that needs to be actor. Okay. Good, 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 good. Moving along, moving right along. Okay, battle event. Okay, so action. Action is a horrifying, disgusting set of code. I'm not going to do that one right now because I'm not even sure I'm going to keep it that way. So let's do animate, which is it's a good piece of code. I mean, code wasn't made bad, you know. It's inherently bad. Let's see. Might just do this. Right. Now I'm gonna simplify some of this code. So, good rule of thumb is anytime you see yourself performing the same actions over and over again, hey, totally do something about that. All right. So in this case, I'm going to move the target code out, so it's not being used by everything. Plus all this stuff will now have to be targetable. It wasn't required before, but it is now. O is equal to battler graphics do idle. Let's have a look-see and make sure that that's actually correct. So that's animate. Battler animate plus argument 0. Plus the animation string. Yeah, these are all going to have to be updated, but for now they will work because I haven't gotten around to breaking them yet. I promise to do that. Alright, if action pushed over 4 times is equal to do idle, then do idle. Otherwise, target animate is equal to action. Let's double check this. That's 4. Should be 8. It looks like 8 to me. That says 8. Let's take bets on whether or not it works. Alright. Said the magic words. It sure looks like it should, so hehehe. Alright. The last event is action. I need the action event. The question is implementation. I can use the current horrifying and sloppy implementation. Or I can sleep soundly at night. Ooh, decisions. Oh my god, all that code's gonna have to be rewritten. Rewritten, I say? No, will it? That's not how that code works. The only time it would have to wait is on it processing the event queue. I don't think that's being used anymore. Ooh, project rewrites, aren't they fun? Alright. It's definitely better to take care of this now than to wait until it gets even more ungodly unmanageable, so I'm totally fine with doing this. It's just, it's annoying. Alright, so let's have some look-sees here. That's all correct. So that all looks good. Let's see. Okay. We will edit the QSet and QAdd scripts so that they now no longer do that, and instead do scene action queue. That should work. And scene action queue, scene action queue, scene action queue, ID is equal to 0. No longer requires an argument 0. Nope, this is 0. This is I. See what I broke here. No longer requires a target. Actions no longer requires a target. Actions 0, 0. 0. Go. Action queue is equal to array length. Scene action queue. Come on. Action queue. Beginning at 0. Okay. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. That's fine. Scene action queue, that's fine. Scene action queue I is equal to I, that's fine. That should all work. It'd be fun to hack through the bugs, like traveling through the jungle with a machete. Or it might be like the window code and actually just work. That was actually pretty refreshing, really. Action, because it's gonna be needed. Action Q ID ++. Boom. So now what it waits on is no man, actor Q. Oh no, that doesn't actually... I gotta fix something. Okay, yeah, that's not how the original queue worked, so I now have to fix that. While action queue ID is less than array 1D action queue. Perform these series of complicated actions. Good to me. This is there. All right. Boom. All right. The difference will be else exit. That'll be the only way to break that while loop from a case statement. Hence the reason for doing so. I might actually change that because I don't like that implementation. So let's do it this way instead. I prefer my breaks to be one deep. It's just a personal preference. Else perform this action. If action and F is equal to battle event wait, then perform the wait action, which will involve breaking out of the routine and waiting properly. If actor is equal to target, actor, and there we go. Boom. All right. Alright. Oh my god, I don't even want to look at this code again. But here I go. Hold my nose. Dive right in. Oh my god, it's horrible. Now in this situation, I'll probably have it call a script or something, because this is nightmare level code. It's just ugly to look at. It's just unpleasant. I'm gonna need some Tums after having seen it again. Okay. Alright, just dive in, just dive in. It's like a band-aid, just gotta tear it off. That doesn't even do anything. What the fuck is that supposed to be? See, some of these actions are going to have to be assigned to the battler. Actually, this will be a point where this code will have to be different. This code will be... Yeah, okay. Okay. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. Rake. Because this is code that should be performed by the battler, and therefore it shall be. I think this one goes back another. Maybe not. It's a break statement goes right there. I think. Yes. Yes, okay. So the actor queue will still be in effect. It'll just work slightly differently. So we have an action to pass. Or series of action to pass. So these are all going to be part of the action crew. I'm gonna put it down here because they don't actually have a home anymore. Target's a target. Yep, I don't even think that's being used, but we will check on that later. Okay, so what I need to do is for this to happen, but it has to happen at a different level than it used to. So all of this code is no longer relevant. Well, let's have a checks then. Let's see here. If I were to click on my preferences, it says I've currently been in this for 6 days. So, a quick calculator. 6 times 24. Oh, I've botched everything. Alright, let's try again. Thank you, calculator. 6 times 24, 144 hours. That is a lot more than I intended this to be taking. Unfortunately, it's because I spent about 40 of those hours redoing a lot of code. At this point, I'm actually a lot closer to being done than it may look like, because once the battle already works, I just keep refactoring it so it'll be less of a nightmare. After that, I only have to code in shops, the item menu, magic being used outside of battle, and treasure chests, and then it's on to content. So I'm actually hoping to get a yeah, 6 is in 24 hours a day. That's how it reads out. Anyways, yeah, I'm hoping to have something playable by tomorrow, honestly. Yes, it's all together. Any project you've ever been working on, I strongly suggest you look at that counter and you'll be like, holy crap, what the hell? Let's see here. Okay, we're looking at actions. We're deciding on a new course of action that doesn't suck here. That's very important. Still need a battler wait action. Which means I have to go up here. Macro battler action wait. Okay, there we go. Okay, I can do this. Does it seem like I want to do this? Because I don't want to. I've already gone this far. I have to break everything. So here we go. too much of a wuss for that. I'm going to hit Control K and just comment it out in case it turns out I still need that code in a little bit. Now, what used to be the action code will now become the loop code. It's all going to have to work a little bit differently. If you leave the IDE open and you don't do anything, I suppose so. I had a friend who was a big fan of Grand Theft Auto 3, and he used to fall asleep playing it. So his playtime showed somewhere around 400 hours. And this was back in the days of, obviously, PS2, so not like Steam or anything like that. And a significant number of those hours were the fact that he just never turned it off. Alright. So now this is going to change to this. I don't know why I did that. That doesn't even make sense. What the heck am I doing? This is not needed because this isn't even going to work that way. Alright, get rid of that. Here we go. 0. This will actually make all of the code quite a bit cleaner than it was, so that's good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Take the old action code, and I just need to save it somewhere, so boom, there, it's been saved. So add event. User event 0, gonna need that one. Action flee? I'm not entirely sure all these are gonna be useful. Alright, I'm just gonna have to do this logically. I mean, this is gonna work, but I have to decide what it is I need it to do. So let's do this in a logical progression. So up here I set their action. Because we haven't set anything in the queue, that's why. So let's just pretend for a moment that we are setting up the queue. Let's dupy these. This will now be battler set QU. Just for the record, I know that's not how to pronounce it. I choose to pronounce it incorrectly. Battler add QU. Alright, so battler set Q2 be the actor, I guess. I already know who it is, so now I just have to say, hey, do a thing, you. No, it's actually under the preferences. When you go to the little gear right here next to the question mark, it will be on the very first page that you open up. Let's see here, battler set Q. Ooh, no, come on. Oh. Battler action. Which That I will, and as I said, hopefully it'll be sometime this weekend. That's the goal, anyways. Just a lot of stuff needs to get done first in terms of... I already broke the battles, so I have to fix them now. But once that's done, just ignore this for a minute. We'll go back in time. Alright, if enemy, run their AI. Okay, so first thing we do is we set up their actions, get their targets set up, then we start attacking targets. In this case, we need to run the intro animation, so battler action, or battler set Q actor. The action will be battler move forwards 10 pixels. Battler animate, battler that used to be an old thing. It's not the same anymore. So we need new actions. This is all going to change. So for now, let's just put it together the way it would be. Up. Alright, so first is going to be battler animate. No longer needs an actor. So let's just return to the business. Requires a target because we already know who the target is. Tick book frames. That's 2. That's the most common. Let's start there. Argument 0 is time. Frames and F. Argument 0 and F4. And F8. So... Okay, battler action animate, animate do dat. That is a-okay. Animate will set its animate so it'll always work as long as time continues. Flashes the same way, so that's good. Alright, battler animate is going to be as follows. Going to be this, but we're going to have to change it up a little bit, I guess. Is the best way of putting that. Let's make it good. Let's make it good. Let me see here. Idle is equal to undefined. That's not gonna work. Don't do that. That's dumb. That is dumb. Alright, folks. Looks like I'm gonna take a break for a minute and mull this over till next time.